Again, March is on, and we are watching the tropics very closely. We've got a lot of activity out in the broad Atlantic region, the main development region, but we also have an area to watch closer to home that may certainly impact our weather as we turn the calendar to October. We've got Joyce, we've got Isaac out there, thankfully staying out to sea, but this one forming relatively close to the area where Helene came out of. So you've got the central, the western Caribbean right here, 50% chance, according to the Hurricane Center, that this could get a tropical depression status or even a storm as it makes its way up toward the Yucatan Peninsula and eventually into the Gulf of Mexico. Again, very similar to what we just saw with Helene, but there are some differences. Let's first of all take a look at the ingredients. Where it is right now, or where it could develop, has very, very deep, warm water here in the Western Caribbean. Now, of course, the last system, Helene, stirred up the water a little bit. We saw a little bit of upwelling in the Gulf of Mexico, but it's still plenty warm enough to get a storm going and sustain a storm and even cause some strengthening as it makes its way into the Gulf. But there are other factors. Will we see wind shear? Will we see dry air? That could all impact the strength of this system and also the position of the next trough that comes through. That will also determine which way it goes. As you can see, the first model we're looking at is the Euro, showing a system moving into the middle of the Gulf as we head towards next Saturday and perhaps kind of stalling out a little bit or maybe sliding in to the west side of Florida, but a weaker storm according to the Euro Sunday into Monday. Check out the American model, which handled Helene fairly well. We do see that first piece of energy going through the Bay of Campeche. Here comes the next entity that we're watching moving into the Gulf by Friday, and perhaps a stronger system, possibly even affecting northern Florida by next weekend. Well, our coverage continues right wiped away. So just devastating, really, western North Carolina into the upstate of South Carolina's Saluda River, still up, by the way, record-breaking levels in western North Carolina. We still have a lot of power outages. South Carolina was over 1 million yesterday. They have made some progress, but still the majority of Greenville County alone is out this morning. Georgia, the numbers coming down, but we still have hundreds of thousands of customers without power, stretching all the way down into Florida. The weather is still pretty messy out there. We still have the remnants of Helene spinning over Tennessee, Kentucky, Nashville picking up just under ½ an inch, Memphis picking up even more than that. We do see a few scattered light showers moving into western North Carolina, thankfully not too heavy. But of course, we don't need a drop of rain in some of these hard hit areas where we continue to have these flash flood emergencies in the wake of 1 to 2 feet of rain. One of the highest amounts I saw in North Carolina, over 30 inches of rain. So that's what led to the dams being threatened in some of these river basins as well. Scattered showers that will continue throughout the day from Cincinnati to Louisville to Beckley, West Virginia, the I-81 corridor, even southwestern Virginia. You guys were hit hard with the flooding too, and we've got additional rain showers moving through. And yes, this is basically the ghost of Helene, the leftovers coming through the mid-Atlantic the next couple of days, keeping it unsettled. Overall, not talking about a lot of rain, but Reynolds, it's not out of the question we could see some areas topping 3 inches in western Virginia. We're all a little storm weary at this point. In fact, a lot storm weary, but we still have a ways to go this hurricane season. Reynolds, we've got numerous systems to watch in the Atlantic, including one pretty close to home.
Yeah, again, tis the season. We still have a ways to go. When we take a look at Isaac, and Isaac has weakened since yesterday, but still a force to be reckoned with, 80-mile-per-hour winds, but a fish storm staying out to sea. It
is a big storm, though, so possibly affecting some of the shipping lanes out there. Then we've got Joyce holding on to tropical storm status, but expected to weaken in the next couple of days with winds of 45.
Yes, indeed. And with Invest 90L, the direction, we think more of a westerly jaunt, maybe a slight curve towards the north, but that's over the next 7 days.
Hopefully staying out to sea. But yes, the next name on the list would be Kirk. We'll see if it's the one out in the eastern Atlantic, or perhaps could we see it happen in the western Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico?
That's a great question. Now, the models have not been exactly the same, but still give us a general idea that we do expect that energy to make its way through or past the Yucatan and western Cuba and moving in the Gulf. That's the position by Saturday for the Euro.
So this is the Euro as we head towards next weekend. Something to watch certainly for really anywhere along the Gulf Coast. We should be vigilant and ready for it, bringing that moisture into Florida, which obviously doesn't need it in the wake of Helene. But the American model, which handled Helene pretty well.
Very well.
Unfortunately, this one looks like it gets its act together a little bit better here in the middle of the Gulf by the time it gets there. Right now, it's still in the Caribbean, and there you see it by Friday. It's right in the middle or kind of toward the eastern half of the Gulf, and then affecting maybe northern Florida by next weekend.
Yes, indeed. So that gives you just a general idea. So we'll have to keep an eye on those over the next several days and see if they come into agreement or if there's more of a separation, Kelly.
Right. So I mentioned Kirk is the next name. Of course, we got two that could achieve a name in the coming days. Leslie, the storm after that, goes all the way to William. And remember, the hurricane season goes all the way through the end of November.
Yeah, good time to stock up. Right about now, I would say so. And this is just an idea for you. A couple of the supplies, chargers important, water, batteries, need them all.
And when it comes to being prepared, your home, also know what evacuation shelter to go to, know if it accepts pets, right? Just have everything ready to go just in case. It's always better to be ready.